All right, the last video we went over how to rotate an image and make some adjustments. Now let's talk about selecting different areas. If I want to select a part of this image, on this left side I have what is called the marquee tool. Now yours might not look like a circle, it might look like a rectangle, right? It might look more like this. But anyway, what that is it allows you to select a certain area of the image. So let's say I want to select this garbage can. I can click and drag over that area, and now everything within that rectangle is selected. If I want to make a change to my image, I make sure the background is selected right down here, and then I've got the selection over here on the left, and I click on adjustments. I could change the levels just for that section. Notice it's just affecting that square. Now let's say I want to move this selection. I could also do that by pressing V or clicking on that move tool. I can move that selected area, and now it's just showing that difference in contrast for the selected area. This is helpful if you wanted to select a certain part of your image and then adjust the levels for that part of your image. Now this just creates a square or a rectangle, and you might not want a rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and undo what I just did. I'm going to look at the history. I'm going to go back where I created that rectangular marquee. I'm going to go to modify contrast. I'm going to go right there, and then now I'm going to show you another selection tool. You could use the elliptical marquee tool. You click and drag and you can do like oval shapes. So like if I wanted to select the inside of this garbage can, I could do something like that. There's the lasso tool right here. Lasso tool allows you to select a very specific area. So like if I wanted to select let's say the bottom of this garbage can, I could click and drag it around, and when I end, it automatically connects it. So that's kind of neat, being able to do something like that, but it's not very exact. Now also under the lasso area, we've got the polygonal lasso tool. Let's say I wanted to select part of these steps. I could click, let go, click, let go. So this would be good for objects that have straight edges, but not good for objects that have rounded edges. Then when you get back to your original spot, notice that little O appears, and then now I've selected that area. And I can make adjustments just to that area. Another cool tool is the magnetic lasso. And let's say I want to, if I press H, that gives me my hand tool, allows me to move along on my image. Press Command minus to zoom out, Command plus to zoom in. But anyway, if I use this magnetic tool, I click once. I don't have to keep on clicking, but I do need to keep my cursor pretty much above where I want it to select. And it does a pretty good job at selecting the pixels within that area, as long as my mouse or cursor stays above where I need, right? So like right there, it's a little off. All right, and when you get back to the original, you click again and it's selected that area. Now the other thing I want to tell you is after you've selected areas, you can add to this selection area or take away. So if I go back to my lasso tool, I'm going to just go to the basic one. If I hold down Shift, notice my cursor, it changes to a plus button. So I'm holding down Shift and I'm selecting this area, and boom, I've added a little bit more. This area got a little bit too much. So if I hold down Option, which is to the left of the command button, I can select another area, and boom, it's gone. And oh, I got too much there. Hold down Option, boom. And let's say I want to use a different tool within this area. I could. So maybe I want to use the polygonal tool around here. So hold down Option, boom, click. Awesome. So it deselected that. Say there was an object in the middle and I wanted to deselect it. Hold down Option. Weird object. Alright, click on that. Boom. Now that's deselected. Anyway, this is one way you can select various areas and then use adjustments to change those areas. Just make sure you're always selecting the correct layer. So in this case, the background layer, that's what I would want to change. And then if I'm, I want it to be a lot brighter, I can adjust the brightness of that section that was selected, and so on. So experiment with that. And then also, I think I have time. Let's go over the clone tool really fast. I'm going to zoom out by pressing Command 0 so that I can see my full image. Instead of being on the selection tool, I'm going to go down here, click on the stamp tool. The stamp tool is a two-part process. I've got to identify where I'm taking something from, and then I have to paint it where I want it at. So if I wanted this garbage can to also be right over here, I'll press Alt, click on that garbage can, then let go of Alt or Option, and then paint it on. And you're like, oh, nothing's showing up. All of you will do this. What's going on is I have the brightness contrast layer selected. So I've got to go down to the background, click on that. Now if I press Alt, click on the garbage can, I let go. Now it's taking from that garbage can, the pixels that are in that area, and moving it to the right. You'll see that little plus sign. That's telling you what it's taking it from. Now, this is a really nice tool. Sometimes if you have, like if I have a picture and I've got some acne on my face or a big old zit, I can take a little piece of skin from one area, then move it over the acne area, and then you can't tell that I had acne at all. But anyway, it's a great tool. Sometimes you could create like monsters and things. Like you could create a bunny with antlers or something like that, taking from two different images, or taking the eyeball and making a face with 5 different eyeballs, or fun stuff like that. When you're using Photoshop, because your grandma Ida is going to say, hey, can you remove the wrinkles in this picture, and you could do that using this method. Or you could take out people that you don't want in there. So if I didn't want the shadow in there, I could select an area next to it, right, and then kind of take out that shadow. That didn't totally work, but you get it. Have a good one.